very, very hard, and rightfully so. One of the most consistent teams in North America.
Exodus
finally showing it. It's just
have a style that is more European. They spread out on the pitch, they get the ball across, they play some solid passing,
which is not a thing I ever thought I would say about a team with KoU and Lachinio.
Got a very, very solid attack,
and
use the backboard quite a lot, Northern Gaming style.
Had some really rough times last week.
Which is weird for NA, right? Like a lot of NA teams will end up going very much into sticking close together, staying as close to the ball as possible so that they can always be first to the ball and challenge, play as fast as possible.
We don't know, but it's going to be really exciting.
And that is KoU style. They very hard on the ball, they push themselves forward and cheat a lot, and create a lot of opportunities in chaos. Get some really good demos as well. Everyone on KoU is really good at demos, but in particular Sad Jr. and Jacob. So it works for them using that style.
Wins that they were kind of expecting themselves to get in the road to being in that top 6 so they can play in the playoffs. Losing that
before going into RLCS 1, I was predicting that Exodus would have the best results just based on their style and their ability to take it to EU teams, but obviously I was wrong. They lost to Flipside in the end, and that's not exactly a surprise. It's not exactly a surprise. They did take down Mocket, at least, so lost to Northern Gaming and Flipside. It's not the end of the world for them to get knocked out by 2 of the best teams in Europe.
G2 Esports in the blue. Game number way, set to go here. Neutral kickoff, more in favor of G2. Lachinio immediately up on aggression.
I mean, so, oops. Wavepunk saying this is in favor of G2, this kickoff, but it's very much not. So Overzero really smothers the ball, and Turtle, I don't want to skip all the way back. Turtle sort of just goes to the side purposely to make it spill out to the side, prevents it from freezing, and it's going to just go out into the house. So he approaches it from the side. And this is a win for Exodus most of the time. They should have been more ready for that, but the ball going into their half in an area where they can get boost should be their ball, and then they just kind of really fluff it. It's a good shot by Kronovi though. It's not just the height on the ball, but getting it over to that right hand side was perfect.
1-2-3 team play. G2 coming out hot out of the gates. Took them 9 seconds to score. Kickoff number 2.
I mean, I haven't actually seen this series,
no pressure. We'll leave it to G2.
But I know that there were a lot of 3-0s on Saturday, and so I'm guessing that G2 get 3-0'd.
Go up and defend, able to clear away Garrett's shot. The Turtle keeps the pressure on. Now Moses in the 50-50. It goes off to the side, and Turtle pops it high.
You kind of see some of the issues of doing these slow rotations that Turtle's doing here. Because he does this really quick rotation back in, he has no speed coming in and can't really do anything with the ball. So he ends up just getting a touch that doesn't really do much. Hey Turtle, this match.
Out in the corner. It's over 0. Pops it towards the middle. Nice shot.
How's it going, Turt?
Puts it over to the side. Moses onto the backboard, interrupted by Kronovi. This is solid defense from G2, just not allowing shots to materialize.
Good idea by Lachinio for a clear, but hitting the roof is not the way you want to go there. If he didn't hit the roof and turned it directly horizontally, he would have cleared it all the way to the other end of the pitch. So he ended up just sending it straight into the Exodus attack, and now they have pressure once again.
He was not going to be able to get that angle, but the 50-50 going in favor of Lachinio. By Moses falling back, though, he was not going to be able to get that angle, but the 50-50 going in favor of Lachinio.
I thought Lachinio there turned off ball cam for that shot. So if you're ever going into 50-50s, you should try this. It's something that Mike Rules does a lot. 50-50s anywhere, even in the air. He takes off ball cam because it gives you the absolute perfect view for getting the best 50-50 you can. Even if you just try it for a week, you'll find how awesome it is. Because you can just see all the angles and know exactly what you need to do to win a 50-50. Hey, Outside Shooter, how's it going? Roast me, Turtle? Okay. Surprise, Turtle, that you managed to get that open net. Expected you to miss. So, good work by you. Hopefully see more of that in the future, being able to hit those open nets.
Something that plagued in the first qualifier and the second qualifier for G2.
They had both Kronovi and Overzero up there in the air.
So again, Kronovi going for the win on the kickoff, but Exodus aren't expecting this. They're not only getting into a position where they can deal with that scenario, even though they're not trying to win the kickoff as such. Oh, Turtle, what a shot, the finish. The finish, I'm good, Outside Cheater, I'm good. That's just a really nice touch by Moses off the back wall. And a great touch by Overzero to put it into net. That is the problem with defending net too far out, is that you have a good chance of putting it in if you don't time it correctly. If you get it before it hits the backboard, or as soon as it hits the backboard, it's much harder to own goal it.
Turtle, who gets it over Overzero and tries to pop it out, but actually leaves it on the wall for Lachinio. Now Overzero in that #1 role. Tries to get the dribble, gets it over the top.
Here we go. That should be a goal. That should definitely be a goal. Great setup by Overzero. Take 2 people out of the game. Turtle was already out of the game. What would you consider a kickoff win? I mean, it's hard to say what, because there's 2 different contexts, right? If I'm winning kickoff, it could mean that I'm oh, what a shot. It means that in a standard sense, if you're only taking the ball and the 2 cars into account, then winning kickoff is, getting it into the opponent's half behind your opponent. And that's what you normally want to see in 1v1. Where you don't have any other opponents, so getting it behind them means a goal. For me, winning a kickoff means that you get possession afterwards, or you get pressure afterwards. It's not about the kickoff itself, it's about all of the players on the kickoff in 3v3. So, losing kickoff or getting the ball to go behind you is often advantageous because that's where your teammates are. Alternatively, G2 seem to be winning kickoff by getting the ball forward and allowing themselves to follow up. So they're in good positions to follow up on that forward position and get immediate pressure. Another team that's really good at that is Selfless. If you watch Selfless, they almost always get pressure off the kickoff, so they almost always get offensive pressure. But yeah, just getting the ball behind opponent in 3v3 is not winning the kickoff. Doing that in ones is obviously winning the kickoff, because you get forward pressure, probably a goal.
Moses sets it up high. Nice play by Turtle, knowing where Overzero was going to play that one. Moses now has it up in the corner. They might be able to put another one on the board here. Lachinio up to midfield. Shut down by Garrett as he sends it back into the box.
Turtle, what's it like being carried by Moses and Garrett? It's really... I know the experience of being carried by my teammates, but I want to get yours as well.
Allowing this one to in any way get out of the G2 half. And with 30 seconds left on the clock, G2's got to get some points going right now.
Yeah, G2 really need to just step it up and be as aggressive as possible. Just abandon net in their usual style. Not fly across the pitch for a useless touch that takes out your teammate like that.
12 seconds left on the board. It's the final countdown. And Exodus coming out strong after a very early, exciting, aggressive push by G2.
You wanted this, Turtle. You wanted this.
Able to take game #1 here against G2. An excellent display, but G2
well played by Exodus, somehow getting Turtle the MVP.
Definitely. And
well
I'm
done.
bring that up. They
well
look
done.
a lot more characteristic of what we expect from them in previous matches. their aggression coming out very early. That's something that we see. I also like to see.
Well, the thing with G2 is they had a bunch of opportunities and they weren't taking them. They missed their opportunities. Their only goal was from just a really, really nice touch by Kronovi, where he actually hit the net, hit the ball into the almost open net. Exodus, more like Garrett and Moses, am I right? Yeah, completely right. It's a shame. It's a shame because I really like Turtle as a person. I really like him as a person, but like I think they could really do with replacing him with anyone else on Exodus. But yeah, there are tons of times where G2 had an open net or anything like that and just either missed the ball or didn't put it in the net. I think there was like 3 opportunities. So if you had, even if they only got 2 of those goals, then it's a tied game.
I don't understand. G2 put Wasteland in their lineup.
Oh my God!
We've
Why?
got Wasteland, boys, in game number 2 of G2 versus Exodus.
Game 2, we get Wasteland. Like, what is going on?
And G2 picked it. I don't understand what's happening.
Yeah, Wasteland is an interesting one.
But they haven't ever picked it before. It's the other team that always picked it for.
They won on it.
They might as well play it, right? Pull out all the stops at this point.
Wasteland's really good if you practice it. If you can practice it and another team doesn't practice it, then it's a really strong pick. But I don't know if G2 have been practicing it. They didn't show up to check in. Oh, get wrecked. That's amazing. Is it random, Garrett, or is it is that just what they wanted? Because if it's just whatever Psyonix wanted, then it's hilarious. So for context for people who are watching how the picks work in RLCS, when you're checking in each week, you've got to give a ranked list number 1 to 10 of the maps that you want to play. So, you know, 1 Wasteland, 2 Urban Central, 3 Manfield, and all the variations, and Neo Tokyo is in there as well. And then I assume they average out the rankings of the 2 teams, and then turn that into the map selection with favorability to the 1 rank. I don't know how they actually turn that list into the actual maps that get played, because it doesn't seem to make sense to me, since a lot of people would probably choose Neo Tokyo 10. Anyway, and that is how it's done, and it's done for both matches of the day. Hey, Moses. Yeah, that applies to both matchups of the day, and the reason that is important is because for Summit, the team that I was coaching in EU, we decided to put Neo Tokyo in to try and throw off Mocket, assuming we'd be able to pick different maps against Supersonic Avengers. And so we played Neo Tokyo against Supersonic Avengers, and that was fine. We were trying to throw them off and it didn't work, but we weren't expecting to be able to win anyway. But then we played it against Supersonic Avengers, which was a very bad map to choose. I think if we had played a standard map, we would have had a better chance of beating them. And we needed to beat Supersonic Avengers. They're one of the most beatable teams for us. But we didn't know, we weren't given that information, so that ends up being a bit of an issue.
Trying to make up his mind about which direction he wants to go. As he push up, he's going to push up, gets into the air first, puts it onto the backboard, but right onto the hood of Garrett, who's able
Garrett
to
G, what a player, just taking OverZero out of the game right there, and no one else from G2 coming in to do anything. G2 just let him have the ball the entire way of the pitch, but it was the small flick that was really great there, just putting it over 1 and keeping control of the ball.
Boost and lean back and then jump again, is able to match that 50-50 and still keep possession.
Don't do it.
Is this a goal? Oh, Turtle. If that was Garrett G or Moses, that would have been just solo goal off the backboard, but Turtle.
Garrett and Exodus
Look at that.
all together.
I mean, if you wanna actually give some like feedback on Turtles there, if you're going down and you're trying to fly back up, it's much harder to fight gravity compared to if you're, you know, already have your vertical momentum directly level or going up. You can fly up and
number one in the power rankings right now as we're approaching halftime. They're up by 2.
influence it more. So Turtle just needed to fly up earlier, and then if he needed to adjust, he can quickly fly down a little bit, instead of waiting, realizing he needs to fly up and flying upwards late. Unfollowed. It's alright, I love you, Turtle. You asked for it. You said roast me. You said roast me.
He's using that slight angle inside and just jumps. Because of the way
Maybe again coming through for G2.
Slope, he jumps perfectly into an angle and plays that top right. He might have even got
Exodus
goal,
definitely have my favorite playstyle in NA. Definitely my favorite playstyle. KoU, a very exciting team to watch as well.
Brings it back to a 1-point game with 2:05 left to go. Lachinio taking a shot. Moses puts it back up to
sub me in, Moses. Sub me in. I'll
they're kind of going for the same play again, but at this time Garrett's gonna be able to get it off.
bring those keyboard plays into Exodus. Oh,
what a screen! Again, but at this time Garrett's gonna be able to get it off as Lachinio did not get the pass. Oh, and the pinch will go in. What a screen!
I mean, that's just a tough scenario.
Just
Hey, Tom, man. Hey. Yeah, awkward because I'm coaching Torment and his team.
Kind of tangled up, and Garrett recognizes it immediately, plays it downfield very fast, but then reads that second touch afterwards. And that pinch, like you mentioned, so fast, nobody's getting.
You know, they don't even have a style at the moment with the team changes. But they used to have Lucky Bounce style was pretty bad, and it's good to see them make some really good style changes and spreading out a lot more, because with Lucky Bounce that felt that they were, you know, solid in NA, but they were stuck at a level. Like, it didn't seem to me that they were ever, with their, you know, just super challenge heavy style, that they were ever going to be number 1 or number 2, or make it up to that top level of competition. But with their new style, where they're playing a lot more spread out, playing off each other more, there's a higher possibility of them making it to the top with some practice.
Last week it just seemed like Lachinio was nowhere to be found, but you see the way that they're cycling through the players and applying some pressure. It just seems to be not enough as Exodus keeps with, they're like so relentless with it. Garrett playing into the corner, and we talk about how it moves back in. Those walls are so difficult to predict.
That's like the 4th time in this series already that Garrett has got that angle from the left-hand side or right-hand side into the net with just a really solid shot that gets behind the opponent. If he had shot that in the left-hand side of the net, the person who was just standing in goals had a chance of saving it, but it went past them, which was really difficult.
Demo on to Turtle won't be enough to get him any points at this point. They got to be able to push it back down and get some balls into that orange goal.
What do you mean? Isn't G2 the best team in NA?
Even as we're seeing G2
isn't G2 the best team?
More tight, and their goals have been ridiculous. Exodus is still shutting them down.
Yeah, part of the issue too is I'm really proud of what Exodus is doing here. They're doing proper clock management. So we talk about, okay, you're up by 3. What do you got to do to make sure you secure this victory? And they are really spreading out.
Yeah, sorry, I haven't fixed Nightbot to stop banning people for spamming phrases, but actually I can do that now while we watch, because this game is done. Game is done. There's no chance of E2 to come back.
The final buzzer beater possible. Morale boosting goal for G2, who are now down 2 games in the series. They're on match point. Exodus looking to run away with this one. G2's got to change something up.
Exodus definitely gaining that number 1 spot.
I mean, if G2 want to do better, they just need to be able to discover a method of attacking without allowing their defense to be completely opened up.
Everybody getting involved in the same
because right now,
G2 has definitely stepped it up from last week, but having to go against the number 1 power ranking in the community, it's a tough team to beat.
Absolutely.
I have re-enabled repetition, so you can spam whatever you want, but you can't put in links. G2 is the best team in the world, yeah. They are the world champions. A team that can really show up at LAN and perform well without too many nerves at LAN. But at
back in a little bit. You know,
online, obviously not the same case. Getting carried through to land by Gambit as well. Karma. If you mod me in your chat, Karma, I'll mod you here. Mod you here. It'll be good. Actually, hang on. There we go. There's a bit of fan service over to Turtle as well.
Things like that, putting them in a rough position in the first place, clean that
Kaylee's in here.
Oh,
Kaylee.
And we can see G2 come back to their land form.
Everyone loves a bit of Kaylee.
Match point for G2, set to take place on Manfield. G2 immediately being aggressive.
Deal has been made.
Nice setup, goes for the zone on the goalie,
but
no finisher was in from Kronovi. Nice setup again from Lucinio, popped it out to Kronovi. Over 0 with the zone, but Turtle, not to be deterred. They're keeping this aggression on. They got to back up onto the backboard. Can Turtle get it away? He does.
That touch was so crucial by Lucinio. Nobody else was back because of that demo. And if Lucinio didn't jump up quickly and get that hit, it would have been big trouble. As
yeah, everyone loves a bit of Kaylee. Everyone. Get a bit of Kaylee in them.
A lot of ball control right now from G2 in this first
also known as Little Piggy, I guess.
50-50 goes in favor of Kronovi. He drops it back towards the box, but there's the hard clear they need. Moses able to send it onto the backboard. Can he come
Over 0 again, attempting the finish in his own net. And Garrett repeating what he's been doing all series and just going from the side and getting an absolute slammer in net. He's got all the forward momentum in the world, gets the front flip into it and puts it right at the top. And as long as it's bouncing down into the net, it's likely to hit the G2 players because they're standing a little bit forward in net instead of behind the line. If you're behind the line, it'll actually bounce out when it lands on your head, but because they were forward, it bounced back in. Hey, Laugh, how's it going?
You need to put somebody up. Definitely when there's 2 people in net.
Oh, can Over 0 finish this one? He's up and then the air just barely goes over the top of the ball, and that's
hate everyone here. Wow, Kaylee. So rude.
Passing up to Turtle, or on the wall rather, trying to push it through. They leave it when Kronovi.
I need to get the chat up over here on the side somewhere, so that people can see the absolute spam coming out on YouTube as well as on Twitch.
Nice dunk by Over 0, almost got the second dunk on Garrett, but the saves come through. That Exodus defense standing up strong.
It's a good demo by Kronovi. It's going to really throw the defense off, but no one there to capitalize. Lucinio got underneath the ball with no momentum. And by Lucinio, I mean Over 0. No, it was Lucinio. If Lucinio just got out there and let Over 0 come in with momentum, then they would have been able to come into the attack much quicker and actually capitalize on that demo. Great shot though, the side post though.
Continuous pressure from G2 definitely coming in as they keep winning those 50-50s as you mentioned. And a couple crucial dunks coming in from Over 0, able to apply that pressure.
Chat is going a bit nuts right
shot by Kronovi, just not enough, but they still maintain possession until just about now. And Exodus finally on a counterattack. Let's see how this plays out.
Moses gets it over the top of Kronovi.
More demos coming through. NA Rocket League.
Nice touch by Garrett, pops it high.
It's good to see because demos really throw off your opponent. So it seems that NA are using it much more than EU. One of the only real people who use a ton of demos in EU is Jesse, probably one of the best demo players in the world. I don't know how he always seems to get it, but very good at demo. Something I've been adding into my own game as well, the demo game. Kronovi bodying Turtle, but putting him in the right space until Turtle throws himself into Garrett. Yummy is a weapon.
I like how Moses on that defensive drive earlier. They were getting pressured really hard.
How's it going, Eric?
Just plays it to the left, allows Turtle to get back in net, and then make a save, even though the shot wasn't on net. It's just subtle touch.
I just don't know why G2 aren't able to follow up on this stuff. So I've got an attack, they've got 3 people going. Lucinio totally misses it and goes off for boost. Over 0 puts it forward, Lucinio goes in nuts from the side, and there's no Kronovius. I'm guessing Kronovi did a completely deep rotation to the back of the field for boost, and you can see the problem with that there. They then turn into a 2-person attack, and Kronovi spends forever. They lose pressure based off it. They just lost everything, even though they had a really good chance if Lachinio just rotated out and Kronovi could rotate in. So if they went and if Kronovi just went midfield, grabbed some small boosts or grabbed a big boost and came back in, probably would have been a goal for them.
Able to keep the pressure on. Moses pushes it through Kronovi. And the 50-50 going in favor of Turtle. Puts it back into the box.
Everyone in chat spamming Jabated.
He's not going to feel like he has a good angle, but just puts it back out to the middle and Garrett to finish it off.
Some of these camera angles are pretty terrible.
He doesn't think he has the angle, so why
Pretty
waste
terrible.
the opportunity?
I regret enabling this for Nightbot.
It draws both those defenders in and then right back in over the top by Garrett.
Yeah.
So
just a good pass off the
Moses.
backboard, putting it difficult for G2 to defend.
And then they couldn't even see Garrett come
Thanks
in.
for the follow, Garrett.
They knew what was happening. It was all too late. The ball was in the net. 2-0 for Exodus with a minute remaining. They can just hold on for 60 more seconds. They put another one in,
Turtle.
making it 3-0.
What a shot,
Exodus
knowing how to
looking
use
to run
Kronovi
away
as a
with the
backboard to
series.
put
Turtle
this
just
in net.
stand grounded like you mentioned. Good pass up to
But
Garrett, then right back down.
That is just an
Seconds, they
absolute
put
dirty
another
pass
one
from
in, making
Garrett.
it 3-0. Exodus looking
Normally
to
I
run
would
away with the
discourage
series.
people from
Turtle
going
just
up on
stand
the
grounded
wall
like
in
you
this
mentioned.
corner
Good
here
pass up to Garrett, then right back down.
and
Kronovi
doing this
and
kind of stuff, or
Lachinio
like at
both
least
across to make a
initial
save.
position
Not
in
able to
that
get the touch
corner
and good placement by
is
Turtle.
difficult to do
Back to
much
the
on.
side. Good
But
one-two
Turtle
pass
putting that
right
super
back.
high so
And
G2
with
can't get a
60
challenge on the
seconds remaining,
pass,
G2 has to
and Garrett
score
getting the
once
pass
every
just
20
out from the
seconds
wall
just to force
in an
overtime,
area
just to
where
get the win
G2
of
aren't
the
going to be
series,
able to get to it,
and
so
just
it
to
made
be able
it
to
like
force a
the
game
very
four.
easy goal. G2 had
This one
to
here, Exodus is gonna be
predict
running away with a 3-0
exactly where
over the
Turtle was
reigning
hitting it to get a
champions.
goal.
Kronovi puts it over to the side and then continues to carry it into the corner. 40 seconds left on the
Oh my
clock. It goes
God.
to zone out the
Chat
goalie,
is
but Moses
just
puts it over the top. It's
getting
Turtle out in the midfield,
destroyed
winning
by
the
Turtle right
50-50s.
now.
Every time they're able to take ball control
Getting
away from G2, they just
destroyed.
buy themselves so much more time. Both Kronovi and Overzero up for that one. It's Moses who clears it down the line. 30 seconds remaining. Still no points on the board for G2. They're continuing to try and pressure this one through. Turtle.
Solid touch by Turtle, but it was very slow, so it didn't matter that he did the fake shot at the start because they could just run up and deal with it anyway.
Leave no options whatsoever. But they're doing such a good job. G2 really waking up, but
Yeah,
God,
3-0.
really well played.
G2 never looking strong in that game, never looking like they could put anything on attack.
Like this clear coming out, big wall clear by Turtle up to Garrett. Garrett takes a hit, but then recovers immediately and takes a shot over the top. Nothing G2 can do.
Hey Woody, how's it going? Yeah, I'll do VOD reviews of EU probably tomorrow night. Yeah, tomorrow night, Thursday night my time, which is Thursday morning-ish, midday-ish EU time. Around the same time that we did that prediction stream together. Because then the EU guys can watch, because right now it's the middle of the night and you're the only person in EU awake.
But Exodus, being that #1 team right now, standing up strong, getting the win.
Unbelievable plays by Exodus. You saw the team plays, even in subtle pass plays, like we saw it just that last match. Pass plays
Exodus had the pass plays,
he clears, Turtle up
had
to
the
Garrett,
forward pressure,
Moses with subtle plays,
but most importantly they just had solid rotations. So whenever they got forward pressure they were able to keep it, but G2, every time they get the ball forward, they end up turning it into a 2v3 on attack. So they're in the 2 and the defenders got all 3 of them. And then they do these really weird, crazy rotations, these big flying shots from the side, just to take themselves out of the play and prevent themselves from being able to keep that forward pressure. You know, after you explained why G2 is so bad, that's mean, Woody.
Garrett was on fire, hit 8.
Yeah, Garrett had so many good passes this series, but those just shots from the side were absolutely blinders as well. Turtle doing really impressive considering how bad of